Hi everyone, welcome to the Tiny Studio. This is a Vintage Coach Obsession video. How are you doing today? I hope that you're having a great day. I'm having a fantastic day so far. I talked to my parents this morning. They're doing pretty good, and that's all you can ask for. I spoke to my grandmother this morning. She's doing pretty good, and like I said, that's all you can ask for, is when the people that you love are doing well. I don't know what's going on with that picture behind me. I think she's a little off-centered, but I moved some things around in the tiny studio, so maybe I'm going to have to recenter things and, get my chair right, but that's not your problem. That's my problem. I'll work on it. So anyhow, as I said, welcome to Vintage Coach Obsession. I have a obsession with Vintage Coach. I have a pretty decent collection of Vintage Coach purses, and when we're talking about vintage, we're talking anywhere between 20 years on up or back. And I have a pretty good collection. I started really, truly being intention driven with Vintage Coach within the last, I want to say, perhaps 4 years. So I have Coach purses, but they are of various styles and not just Vintage Coach. But within the last 3 to 4 years, I've really been collecting Vintage Coach bags and learning how to rehab them, reimagine them, restore them, and just appreciate them and love on them, because that's what they really want. When you think about Vintage Coach bags, you think about really good quality craftsmanship. You think about the leather and how beautiful it is and how soft it is and how it feels. And then you also think about how durable and timeless they are. The Vintage Coach brand, they don't have a whole lot going on with them. They don't have all the bells and whistles to them. They're very, very simple bags, but don't mistake simple for timeless, elegant, or classic. Don't do that. Because that is exactly what a Vintage Coach bag is. They are classic, they're elegant, they are timeless, they are absolutely unforgettable. Truly. So this video is going to be about another beautiful Vintage Coach bag. And this bag is called the Janice. The Janice, I believe it's the Janice Ricardo Diablo bag. And let me look it up and make sure that I am correct in the proper name of this bag. Because it's one thing I really don't like is when someone calls, name a Coach bag something, or calls it something and it's not true. That's not the real name. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. You go by what you know, or what you have come to know, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all can't be 100% or perfect about everything, but before I say something, I want to make sure I have it correct. And I found the name. Here it is. We're going to talk today about my vintage Janice Riccardi de Santos Legacy bag. Okay, and they were first introduced in 1994. So I thought that was very interesting. I know there's a whole line of legacy bags. I have a 9966 that's coming. And what I would really like to do is I would like to know the history behind the Coach legacy bags. Now I have a Coach Patricia Snyder's legacy bag. I have one of those, and you can see that in another video. But now I have the Janice bags. Now the Janice bag that we're going to be looking at today, I believe, and I'm not sure. Now, this is what I want to say. I want to preface everything that is getting ready to come out of my mouth with this. If you have the history and you know about the style of the Janice bag, please drop down in the comment section and share with us your knowledge and your information, because I would like to know, and I would like to get some more information about the Janice bag. And I already have some information about the Patricia Snyder's legacy bag, but I would like to get some more information about the Janice bag. So if you have that information and you don't mind sharing it with all of us in the Tiny Studio, please do so down below in the comment section. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to Simply Nails Tiny Studio, then what are you waiting for? Why don't you do that now? And also press that like button, okay? Just click on it. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that while I go over here and grab the Janice I want to show to you right now. Okay, were you able to subscribe? I hope so. And did you press that click button? I mean that like button. Did you press it with your mouse? Thank you. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who are returning to the Tiny Studio, have you subscribed yet? I really hope that you have, and do not forget to press that like button. Okay, so here is the Janice bag. Now, I first purchased this Janice bag maybe about, it'll be 2 years now, and my daughter wanted the bag. She kept asking me, can I have it? Can I have it? Can I have it? So I said, fine, go ahead. I mean, let me just be honest with you. About 2 years ago, maybe 3, I want to say, is when I purchased this Janet. And I bought this Janet for $25. And it is in excellent used condition. $25. Let me tell you something. I've been looking at Janices on the pre-loved market, and I've seen Janices running from $70 to $100 to $150 just in black and brown. Okay, now when you start getting into the other colors, red, let's say, the prices are crazy high. Crazy high. So I bought this bag for $25. Lord. Now, when I gave it to her, of course I already cleaned it and all those good things, but I had it stuffed. Now, when she gave it back to me for the purposes of this video, it's not stuffed. I was shocked. I was like, Chastity, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, mommy, you didn't give it to me like that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I stuffed it for her and handed it to her, right? So this bag needs to be conditioned, which is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stuff her. I took the belt off because, you know, the belt is detachable. And the one thing about I've learned with Coach belts, vintage Coach belts, if you can go ahead and detach the belt from it, you should. And what I'm going to do is I've already detached it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to condition it. And after I condition it, I'm going to roll it up and I'm going to put it back inside this bag after I stuff it. So let's start on that. But anyhow, that's what my daughter told me. No, Mom, when you gave it to me, it was not stuffed. Girl, I just don't understand her. All right, so I'm using Lexol. For me, Lexol is really good at cleaning and conditioning vintage Coach bags. And that's what I've been using for a while. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the conditioner, I already have my towel ready, and this is one of my crochet hand towels. I'm thinking about doing a tutorial on hand towels for I also made a scrubby to clean my Coach bags with, so that's really a good idea. I love getting on here talking to you because it gets my brain to working and I start brainstorming about certain things, and I might have some things that you vintage Coach lovers who like to rehab and restore bags might be interested in. I'm going to write that down, and that's going to be something I'm going to be talking about in the near future. So anyhow, I have this clean towel here. Well, it's a conditioning towel. It's a towel that I use for conditioning. And after I use it on these two bags, I'm going to drop this in the machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to massage, as you see what I'm doing right now. I'm using the towel and I'm massaging the conditioner into this bag on the front. And I'm getting way down here in the corners, because you have to remember, this is a really good leather bag. It's made of glove tanned leather, so it feels. Have you ever felt a baseball glove before? If you have, you know exactly how that leather feels, and that's what vintage Coach bags feel like. They feel like a really comfortable used baseball glove, but it's more comfy than a baseball glove. Okay, so let me add some more conditioner to my towel. Now I'm going to get the bottom. Let me see. It has a scuff mark there. So I think that after I condition this bag, I'm going to add some healing balm to it, because I see a scuff mark there. And this is what you should do to all of your leather bags, not just vintage Coach. You should be, after you use them, clean them out, and if they need to be cleaned with some Lexol leather cleaner, or what other leather cleaner that you use, or saddle soap you use of choice, clean them. And stuff them so that they will keep their shape or retain their shape. and then put them away. Vintage Coach leather bags. Some of the bags that I have are over 40 years old. So that goes to show you right off the bat the craftsmanship of a Coach bag, a vintage Coach bag, and it can last generations. And that's why I believe today that vintage Coach is such a hot item, and that's because people are realizing that it really is some of the best leather on the market, or was some of the best leather on the market, and they last a lifetime, truly. So let me add some balm, healing balm, and I use Chamberlain's leather milk healing balm. There you go. Now you can see that. And I believe this to be looks like this. And as you see, I've used a lot. What is that? Girl. Oh, I know. I used one of my that's why you're just supposed to use a sponge. I used one of my crocheted washcloths, and now I got some crochet fuzz in there. So I'm just going to put this healing balm, and I was just going to put it on the corners, but now I'm going to put it all over the bag. And when the Coach bag is dry, it really just soaks that up. It's going to soak it up really well. I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to get that scuff mark there. I'm going to make sure I'm hitting those corners. I'm going to get inside these sides here. I'm going to hit the corner. See me hitting the corners? I'm going to do it again. Make sure you get those corners, because this is a almost 30-year-old bag. But I guarantee you, just this little bit of work I'm doing is going to transform this bag into what it was. And you really don't need too much of this healing balm, because as you see, it does just a little bit, goes a long way. I'm getting right up into here. And you see what that did already. Go back down here. Get that scuff. Oops. Get that real good. Okay, so as you see, just a little bit of conditioner. Oh, excuse me. Just a little bit of conditioner, a little bit of healing balm. You should get those corners. That's all you need to transform this vintage Coach bag. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff it. And my family and I, we pick up, go grocery shopping, and when we're shopping, we usually pick up those little plastic bags. And what I say, instead of tossing out your bags, and those bags really don't disintegrate for another 50 years or so. They're terrible on the ecosystem, and all that plastic with the chemicals and whatnot, you know, it sits in landfills for years and years and years, like I said, and all those chemicals begin to, you know, deteriorate, and then the next thing you know, they're floating, they're going into the soil, and then when it rains, the soil's, you know, that plastic, the chemicals from it, you know, it saturates into the soil, and then all that rain washes it into the water, and a lot of the waterways that we have on this planet are, you know, polluted. And I feel that it's the little things that we do that can help heal our planet. And that's why in my own little place, in my tiny studio, I'm trying to do my part. So what I do is I take those grocery bags and I use them. And I use them to stuff my vintage Coach bags. So I have a few here. Everyone in the household knows to bring mommy the bags. And now I'm going to, oh, you know what? I didn't let you get a chance to see the Janice bag, did I? Okay, so like I said, there are two different collections of Janice that I know of, because I have another Janice sitting right there that I'll let you see in a second. So here's the first one. I just cleaned it. Well, I didn't clean it. I conditioned it and added some healing balm to it. And this is the classic Janice shape. And on the inside, oh, it has no slip pockets. No slip pockets at all. And then on the inside, you have one cavernous bag. And it has raw leather, of course. And then you have one slip pocket, a wide slip pocket, that you can most definitely add things to it. And it's deep. You see I got my hand in there. Here's the slip pocket. Now I'll slip my hand in it. And so you can put a lot of things in the slip pocket as well, or carry a lot of things in your slip pocket. And of course, on any Coach bag, you're going to find the creed. Let's read the creed together. If I can see, excuse me. Because you remember the last time, I couldn't see a thing. Okay, and I think it's going to be like that this time. I do. I can't see a thing. And it's also because, and this is a 9950 bag. That's the style number. So, yeah, I couldn't read that. I couldn't read it. Okay, so let me go ahead and stuff this bag. And so I just put the plastic bags at the bottom. And what this does, and you can use anything. I've seen people use old towels. You can put old towels in here. Of course, you know, you could get some bubble wrap and put that in there. You can use wrapping paper, tissue paper to stuff your bags with. I've seen people do that. Did I already say old towels? You can get old towels and put in there. What else? Anything that's storable, that won't mold on you, or anything of that nature, just put that in your bag. And what it does is it helps your bag to retain its shape. Kind of like how my mom and my grandmother used to store their hats. They always kept newspaper or some type of wrapping inside the hat so that the hat will retain its shape. Okay, so already, as you see, I got lint on it. As you see, this is a very different bag than what you saw at the beginning of this video, right? Yes, because it's been conditioned and I stuffed it. See how it looks? Now you get to see just how big this Janice is. Look at that. Have you noticed so far how what I'm saying to you about a vintage Coach bag is that you can beat it up. Literally beat it up, which is not what my daughter did though. But you can beat her up, but if you know how, you can bring it back to life. And this looks really good, and I didn't do too much to it. See? Okay, now I just restuffed it. Now, in the meantime, here's the belt that came to it. And what happens with some of these vintage belts is that they curl on you. And I find that the best way to get rid of the curling of your belt is to do what I'm getting ready to do in a few seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to use the towel I was using to condition the bag, and I'm just going to use it and just go over it. Go over the belt. And this is a good belt. Of course, you know it's leather. The same leather from the bag that the bag is made of course. And it has the raw leather on the inside of the strap, as you can see. So it's in pretty good condition. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of healing balm to it. And you know, this is a project you could do on the weekend. When I use my Coach bags and finish using them after a week or so, I don't just sit down and do this. This is time consuming, and especially if you want to do it right. But if you have the time, you can do so. But what I do is I take a day on the weekend and I just take the bag and I just grab my dust buster or my handheld vac and I vacuum it, and then if it has to be cleaned, I clean it. Of course, I condition it, and then I see a little crack here. Oh, that's not a crack. Okay. I condition it, put some healing balm on it, and if the straps are detachable, and then I'll take it loose and I put it away. Okay, so now I just conditioned the strap. Looks good. Now I'm going to roll the strap up. And when you have a vintage Coach bag and it comes with detachable straps, take the straps off, because that saves your straps. And keeps your straps in really good condition. Now, first of all, you have to make sure you put this strap in your bag. Do not lose your strap. When you take the straps off the bags, put them inside the bag. Okay, so here we are. Here's the strap. I rolled it up, and now placing it inside the bag, so that when my daughter decides that she wants to wear it again, then the strap is there. And now here is a vintage Coach Janice bag. Yes, now it looks excellent. It's in excellent condition, and it's just beautiful, right? Now here's another vintage Coach bag that I purchased recently. She is the newest addition to the family, and isn't she the cutest thing? Oh my goodness, she is adorable. Check her out. Oh my god, I just love her. I haven't had the opportunity to wear her yet, but this is another vintage Coach Janice. Isn't she beautiful? Now, as you see, there are two sizes. Here is the smaller size, and here is the larger size. So what I'm going to do for my daughter, I don't know what she did with the hang tag, so I'm going to have to get another hang tag for this Janice and put it on her bag. And I have some hang tags around here, and I think I'll just go ahead and I'll add the hang tag to that. And I think I do. I have one sitting around here, but this is my other vintage Janice bag, my latest adoptee. Isn't she gorgeous? And the same thing, she's just a little larger than the black Janice, just a little larger, and she's just gorgeous. And what I did with her, I posted some pictures on my Instagram page and in a vintage coach lovers group on Facebook, and the Facebook group that is about vintage coach rehabilitation and restoring group. And I showed them what this bag looked like when I first purchased her. I have a budget when it comes to purchasing bags, and when the vintage coach prices start skyrocketing on eBay and Mercari and Poshmark and Etsy, I was like, I'm not going to pay that. I'm not paying all that money for a used bag that someone just picked up at the thrift store and decided that they were going to put on the internet and flip it. I'm not doing that. So I kept to a budget, and my budget is $55 all in. $55, no more. I'm not doing it. So $55 is my maximum. $45 is the minimum, and as far as what I am willing to pay for a vintage coach bag, that's as far as I'm going. And so I purchased this bag for $45. Now listen, it was in bad condition. It was in pretty bad condition. It was beat up. It was most definitely beat up, and it was very dry. But when I saw it on the internet, when I saw it on eBay, there were things, it had good bones. There were things that I saw and that I noticed that I said, well, this bag is really a good bag, and it only needs A, B, and C, and I can do that and restore it. And that's exactly what I did. When it came to me, it was just really dry. It had all kind of scratches on it. It had some marks on the inside. And what I did was I just cleaned it up. I don't dunk my Coach bags. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. Now, I see a lot of people who dunk their bags, and they have pretty good results. Every time I've dunked a bag, I've had bad results, really bad results. I think I talk about it. Check out the video that I did on my Coach penny bag, and I talk about my dunking experience and what happened and why I do not dunk vintage Coach bags. I just don't do it. It's not worth it. So I was able to use the Lexol cleaner, and then I was able to use the conditioner, and I use the healing balm, and I scrubbed it. I scrubbed the leather, the raw leather on the inside with my scrubby, and with some Dawn dishwashing liquid and warm water, and I did all of that, and I was able to, oh yeah, it looks really good in here. Smells wonderful too. And I was able to do what I could to save this bag, and it turned out really, really well, and I am just really pleased with it. It's really large on the inside. Let me show you how it looks in here. And let me take things out. Okay, here's the belt. And inside of this bag, I have some other goodies. I have some prototypes to some slippers that I was making. I have some other goodies, just some yarn. Okay, and I put the towels in the bag because I was still in the process. I want to make sure that after I scrubbed it, that first of all, I had lost its shape. So I wanted to make sure by putting towels inside the bag that I would be able to dry it, make sure that it dried thoroughly, and then also make sure that the shape, you know, comes back. And it did. As you can see, the shape has returned to the bag. It's been about 2 weeks. I've been working on it for about 2 weeks. So here's the inside of the bag. It's completely dry now. It had a lot of things going on with it, but I was able to do some scrubbing. And I might work on it some more, but I'm pleased with it. That's good because it was a whole lot worse. When it arrived, it was a whole lot worse. This bag was terrible, okay? It smelled awful. Oh my God, it smelled so bad. There was all kind of hairs in it. It was just bad. So I was able to clean it. I first used my my hand vac, my dust buster. Do they still make those? That's what we used to call them, dust busters. They still call them that, or they just call them shop vacs or handheld vacs. I don't know. But anyhow, it was really bad in here, and so I was able to clean it out. It looks 1000% better. And so it was really wet. And so what I did was, over the course of a week, I kept putting towels in this bag, and sitting it out so it could air dry. And after a week or so, it dried. And then I added some Odor Band to it. Now, Odor Band, that is a vintage Coach bag lover's best friend, in my opinion. Odor Band. I got some Odor Band, and then I kept spraying the bag real good, and then I used my scrubby with the Odor Band to really sink into the raw leather. And then I added the towels and some things again what's that? Fruit fly inside the bag. I got a whole I have a whole thing of fruit out there on the table, you know, and you know what happens when you have fruit hanging out on your table. And I love having fruit, you know, in the house because I'm a juicer, and I make a lot of protein shakes and things of that nature. But you know, sometimes when you keep fruit out on the table, I keep fruit out for that reason, and then I love it for a decoration. You know, it's cute to have fresh fruit on your table, you know. You know, you let one fruit fly in the house, it's just a mess. Okay, anyhow, and I will be getting my little spray, and I will be spraying in a hot second after I make this video. Okay, so anyhow, and I need to tell those kids to start eating that fruit. Come on now. All right, so here we are. It was shapeless. I should say it was out of shape, and it was terrible. Now, as you see, I don't have anything in this bag, do I? And look at the shape. That's after 2 weeks of reshaping. Got towels in it to make sure I soaked up any additional moisture that was in this bag. And look at it. It looks great. That's just from reshaping. And I don't have anything in it. I don't have anything in the bag. And look how it is. It's totally reshaped. Let me tell you something. It did not look like this when I first got this bag. So anyhow, the Odor Band gets rid of the odors in your bag. It worked really well on this bag. And I used Odor Band before on another bag. Someone had told me to use some charcoal or something like that, but I already had Odor Band in the house, and so I'm like, well, let me try it out and see what happens. And I did, and the smell that was in that bag disappeared. And that's exactly what happened to this bag. I'm just so pleased with how it turned out. Look at that. And it was horrible. So you most definitely can pick up a vintage Coach bag at the thrift store, at the Goodwill, Salvation Army, consignment shop. And if you have to, you can do what you need to do to bring it back to life, because Coach is a fantastic brand for that. And investing in a vintage Coach bag is one of the best investments that you will make. And as I said, I gave one of those bags, I gave it Janet, gifted it to my daughter. So I love vintage Coach. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to restuff her now with some plastic bags. And she doesn't need to be conditioned anymore. I put healing balm all over her because the bottom was really dry, and the corners really, the whole bag was just really, she was struggling. But that was until I adopted her, and now she has a whole new life. So thank you so much for hanging out with me in the tiny studio. I hope that I was able to inspire you and encourage you. And if you have any questions or comments, please drop down in the description. Oh, not the description box. Just drop down in the comment section and leave your questions or comments, queries, whatever you have. If you have any more information, historical information about the Janice bag, feel free to share that as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today in the tiny studio, and I'll see you next time in a vintage Coach obsession video. Have a wonderful day.